Hello, and welcome to the Real Estate and Business Success Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Jimerson, your Southeast Alabama luxury realtor with first-class real estate wiregrass. In this podcast, we're diving deep into the intersection of real estate and business to uncover what makes successful entrepreneurs tick. Each week, I'll be interviewing top business owners and investors from the Wiregrass region and beyond, exploring how they've achieved enduring success and how their strategies can apply to both real estate and other industries. Whether you're a real estate professional or a business enthusiast, get ready to gain valuable insights, discover new strategies, and elevate your own success. Let's get started. Welcome, everyone, to the Real Estate and Business Success Podcast. I'm your host, Ben Jimerson. Just want to thank you for tuning in, whether you're listening in on the podcast or watching my video on my YouTube channel, Wiregrass Veteran Realtor. Today, we got Tec Tony here with us, aka Anthony Lloyd. We're going to talk about some digital marketing, but I appreciate having you here on the podcast today, Anthony.
Hey, man, appreciate having me, Ben. What's up, everybody? I'm Tec Tony.
You do digital marketing. How long have you been in that business?
Legally?
Yeah.
I've been doing this for about 12 years. I've been a business for about 9 to 10 years.
Wow. That's a long time, man. I didn't even realize that for as long as I've known you.
Sure, but yeah.
So what made you want to get into digital marketing?
Well, you're a real estate guy, and I figured Google has some pretty special attributes when it comes to real estate agents and real estate companies. I figured we could do a little bit talk about that because, well, my company, Pathfinder Digital Marketing, or what you would expect as a traditional marketing company, Google Ads, websites, SEO, that type of stuff. But what we specialize in, separates me from everybody else, is first of all, we're a Google partnership agency, which puts me at the top 3% of digital marketers in North America. And then, so we specialize specifically in Google Ads and Bing. Yes, Bing is relevant. You need to use it. But I figured we can do a little chit chat about real estate and how the digital marketing industry is changing that, because I don't know. The one thing I tell you, I don't know why it works, but it works. Real estate agents using TikTok videos. It's not even like Google, but for some reason, the real estate agents, I don't know if you talked to any yet, but real estate agents I've talked to in bigger cities, nothing against Alabama, but real estate agents I've talked to that use TikTok sell houses off of TikTok videos. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's probably just because they're like
they're bigger, like a bigger cities. Like, I have a client of mine in Atlanta, real estate company. They sell, man. It's video content. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, my guess is just because the videos are so short, and depending on what you do, the type of videos that you're creating, it just grabs people's attention. And speaking of attention, I talk about this all the time. In 2019, I went to Grant Cardone's 10X event, and he said something towards the end that's always stuck with me. He said, attention beats marketing 1,000% of the time.
I can believe that. So I have clients in 14 different countries. And the UK, for example, I don't run billboard ads, TV, radio, none of that stuff in the UK. And when I get clients from there, I ask, like, how did you even hear about me? And they'll be like, oh, well, we follow you on YouTube. Like, we watch your YouTube channel. And we've seen your videos. And when you make content, can be applied to any business, real estate, doctors, a business that needs foot traffic, whatever it may be. You got to make the damn content. And like, I make content, and my job at my company now is to make content. And you're like, oh, these videos are stupid, or this podcast is dumb, or whatever. People listen. And then you start getting leads from it. And you're like, who is listening to this? I watch my YouTube channel views go up and up and up. And I'm like, who is watching these videos? People that are going to eventually, more than likely, use my business. And
probably late at night too.
Yeah, probably late at night, whatever. The internet is 24/7, and a lot of businesses need to realize they're stuck in their old ways where they think business is only when I turn the key to open my door, and everything ends when I turn the key to lock my door at the end of the day. No, your website, for example, is your 24/7 employee, and it needs to be built properly, because majority of companies, they build a website for the sake of building a website, and it makes them feel good. We have a website. We put the URL on all of our TV and radio ads and on the billboard. And I promise you, nobody's driving past the billboard, slowing down, typing in your URL, hitting enter, and keep driving. It's not happening. It has to be built properly, effectively. Anyone can build a website. NASA sent a monkey to the moon. Anyone can build a website. It's the website being effective is what I try to tell clients. We have a client of ours right now here locally. We work on his on-site SEO, which primarily his on-site little was technical SEO. And he's getting leads from Google Organic. He's getting leads from DuckDuckGo. He's getting leads from Yahoo Organic. He's getting leads from Bing, because the website freaking works. And that's what business owners need to realize. Yeah, they need to be like, oh, I have a website, and there's this magical thing that happens. Your website makes you money, and it works properly.
I agree with you, man. Marketing in general is just a passion of mine, because early on I understood how it works and why you need it. And you talk about it being your 24/7 employee. You want to talk about the real estate world. Starting and growing your YouTube channel is a really big thing right now, and it has been for a couple of years. So anybody that's willing to put in the work and do that are going to see rewards, because that's all I hear is these realtors who have YouTube channels, and they're like, yeah, I woke up to like 1 lead, 2 leads, 5 leads the next morning, because they might not be able to see it during the day, but when they get off work or they can't sleep at night, they're going and they're Googling something, and Google and YouTube, one and the same. So if they Google something, your video is going to pop up depending on your title and the description.
Yeah, so with real estate agents, starting with Google My Business, which is AKA Google Maps, or whatever the hell they're calling it at the time that you're listening to this podcast, but they change the name of it every week. Essentially is when someone looks you up online or looks up a service you offer, product or service, and they type in, I need to do real estate agents in Dothan, Alabama, the map shows up. So real estate agents actually get 2 perks with the Google Maps. So one, there is a listing for the agency, the practice itself, the name of the company. So your company name. And then underneath that, each real estate agent will get a Google My Business listing as well. So each agent that is associated with that business. So if you're an agent working for somebody, you have the chance of actually showing up twice on the map listing when set up properly, which can be hugely powerful. And of course, real estate agents, people post on Facebook for this. Again, they post on Facebook for the sake of posting on Facebook, because it makes them feel good that they post on Facebook. You gotta remember, first of all, the internet's not your friend. Facebook doesn't give a crap about your business. Google does. It has a lot of systems that are free, and you will get good organic reach, which is free. I think you and me talked about this, Ben. You were telling me that one of the pictures you posted on Google Maps got like thousands of views and interactions, which you couldn't pay for that type of interaction on Facebook. So real estate agents or businesses, if you post on social media, if you post on Facebook, take that same picture and post it to your Google My Business listing. And those images will show up in Google search. And then, so we have a real estate client in North Carolina, and he's a real estate agent, but he niches down, he only sells to doctors. That's it. He's like, I don't want anybody else calling me. So that's a really hard, once you start going online, you're just going to show up for people, because equal housing laws, as a marketer, I have to obey those same laws. So your website is going to show up to an 18-year-old that wants to look at matches for no dang reason at all. And we've all seen them. They're just wasting time. But with his website and his assets, maybe that Google Ads, SEO, blah, 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 blah. We're talking about everything entirely. So one of the things that we do is he does blogs, best schools for doctors, or my top 3 schools if you're a doctor in Raleigh, North Carolina. What to expect when you move to Raleigh, top restaurants. These type of blogs, when somebody is searching, whether they're outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, or they're inside Raleigh, North Carolina, if they're wanting to buy a house or property in North Carolina, and especially people are thinking about moving in, they're doctors, they're like, well, What are the schools like? What are the restaurants? And his blog will show up. And on top of that, on the map of his website, it takes a lot of detail and effort, it takes money to build out, the house will show up with the school zone, with the restaurants, with the activities that he's talking about on his blog. So he gets his leads when people come and like, hey, we're interested in this house because I like wine, and this house is closest to the top 3 wineries in North Carolina. And
Lifestyle.
yeah, it's just these nice, very specific, detailed leads of doctors that he's getting. Now, yes, he still gets the tire kickers. We still get the other leads because, legally speaking, equal housing opportunity laws, we just can't just block people. We used to be able to, not anymore. But he's getting more qualified leads as a realtor, the ones he wants and the ones he's able to close. And it's an omni marketing approach and effort that he puts in to get those qualified leads. That now, like you said, he wakes up to 1, 2, 3 leads a day that work for him.
Yeah, you talk about quality leads, and that's definitely something that's hard to come by in the real estate world. I mean, I'm sure, not just in the real estate world, but in business in general. But I know real estate for sure, obviously, because I'm in it. You get a lot of just generic leads, people that are not really serious, or maybe they're not serious for another 3, 6, 9, 12 plus months, or they just want to look because they're bored. They see an ad out there, they click on it. Yeah, you talk about not being able to block people. Used to, you could get real target specific on Facebook, but now they won't let you go past 15 miles. They won't let you go any smaller than a 15-mile radius, and then they can't change the age or whether it's a male or a female on Facebook ads. So they made it a little bit more tough. When used to, you could like target a neighborhood or a certain area.
Yeah, some of the things. So this is a moving company that we work with, and we can't. Well, just like some industries, like we can't block, but we can put qualifiers in.
Yeah.
And qualifiers can be like if they searched, if they've been to my blog, like if they live outside Raleigh, North Carolina, and they've been to my blog and they sign up for my newsletter, and let's just say 3 months later they search again real estate agents in Raleigh, North Carolina, then his ad shows up as a qualifier. Like there are audiences and qualifiers in place to help get that better quality lead. If they've already looked up what are they called in your industry? Not bankers, but like
Mortgage lenders.
Mortgage loans. There we go. You think I would have this memorized by now? I know mortgage loaners. What are home loans like? Things like that. These qualifying searches. The beautiful thing about digital marketing, specifically Google Ads, is we can put these qualifiers in place and put people in buckets. And your ad can be customized to the user's intent and to their search. What are they searching for? Which could send them to very specific parts of your website. How it should be designed to be. So let's say you have a PDF file on a website that talks about the history of Raleigh, North Carolina, for example, or Dothan, Alabama. Just because they go to the website and download your PDF doesn't quite mean they're ready to buy right now, but it puts them in a bucket. Hey, they show interest in this. And so the internet will keep track of that person's user's journey. And if they, again, conduct a search relevant to real estate, now they get a custom, because of these qualifiers, it triggers a specific ad for them that they could qualify as a returning user. And now we're like, hey, they're conducting that search again. Let's do the call out where they actually contact Ben as the real estate. And they go, hey, 3 months ago, we checked out your website and we downloaded your PDF file. And you can be creepy and be like, I know you did. Don't say that to your clients. We're tracking you. But they do the buyer's journey. And now 3 months later, you got a great lead that comes in. Easy close. Hopefully it's easy close for you guys. I've been told it helps alleviate some of the tire kickers. Like for me, we've seen on our TikTok videos, client leads that we get that have followed us on TikTok for 4 to 6 months, and they reach out to us. They're easier to close than the leads I get from my own Google Ads. because these people have already been marinating in my industry. They've already been looking. They're following me online. They know I know what I'm talking about. They try and they apply the tips and tricks I give them. And now they're at a point in their business. The majority of the time, it's like, well, we're at a point now where we just can't handle it. We're too busy. We want to hand it off to somebody else. Perfect. Sign here.
Yeah, you're building that trust with them, so they know, like, and trust you now, and they value you.
And here's the thing: they're in Dothan, Alabama, just like digital marketers. If you throw a rock, you're going to hit a realtor. But these realtors, let me say again, let me make sense of this. When I sold cars for Toyota, every car in the world has a seatbelt. But when somebody came to me and one of their touch points was safety, I would tell them, yeah, Toyotas, we have a 3-point safety seatbelt. Every car in America has that. But because they compared my Camry to a Honda and the sales rep didn't say 3-point safety belt, guess what? They're going to buy the Toyota because the Toyota has a 3-point safety belt. If you make the content talking about the houses, they're going to think this is the only realtor in Dothan, Alabama, because he's making content. I see him all the time on my For You page or my Facebook page. This is the one I'm going to end up calling.
Yeah, there's another quote.
Your product that you sell. Sounds like you're going to be the one that's going to sell it to me.
Yeah, I'm a big quote guy. Another quote I heard the other day, it's not what you say, but it's how you say it. So I can definitely relate to that. You gotta relate to people and what their concerns, needs, and wants are. So as far as like business goes, so you've been in business for 10 years. That's awesome, man. That's crazy. A lot of people don't make it past a year. They'll hit 5 years and they say that's the mark. If you can hit 5, you'll keep going. So knowing what you know now.
Every day I wake up and I look at my phone and check my emails. Well, I guess we're still doing this shit. All right, here we
go. so knowing what you know now, what are like 3 to 5 things you wish you knew when you first got started about like business in general?
Taxes suck.
Yeah, they do.
The money you make is not your money. So the biggest thing is that's income, cash flow. Just my biggest pain point still to this day is cash flow and understanding that cash flow. Like, for example, these last 3 months have been relatively difficult for me because normally we close for my agency. Google Ads is the backbone of the business. It's a recurring income. It's what pays the bills, pays my payroll. Everything else we do is cherries on top, but it's not our income. Like if I close a website lead, the company doesn't exactly make income off of that website client until it doesn't have any income. But if I get a Google Ads client, the company makes money by the second invoice, second month. So it's understanding that cash flow and how to build it in a way that it's consistent. That's kind of like what we're doing right now as a company. You'd be like, well, you've been in business for 10 years. Don't you have that down? No, I don't. Because shit happens. And then we're like, oh, the plan we built doesn't work anymore. So now we got to redo this. We're kind of in the middle of growing pains right now of working with our cash flow, making it more consistent, and then growing as well, getting more leads in. Because our current book, we haven't had any new clients in the last 3 to 4 months, which is bad. But all of our current clients have increased services with us, which is good.
That's great.
So comparison year over year, we're down, but we still have income. We're still good cash flow. The cash flow is expanded. So there's just things like that. It's understanding your cash flow, and having no business and having too much business can kill a business either way. Kind of like when I run ads for a client, I'm like, hey, what type of clientele do you want? I want them all. No, you don't. You can't handle them all. You're barely answering the phone as it is. So it's having that system. And then even for myself, digital marketing, having not a core understanding, but just for the small business, because having an understanding of where are my leads coming in from, whether I am, like I said, a lot of businesses, they post on Facebook, it makes them feel good. Well, did that post actually achieve anything? And I ask myself that every day when I post online. Like, what I do research in my industry about what questions people are asking. This is anything any business owner can do. If you're in business, If you're a plumber, electrician, or real estate, whatever it may be, you know the top 3 to 5 questions someone's going to ask you when they reach out to you. And so it's, as a business, understanding when I make these posts, what am I doing? What am I trying to accomplish? Because as a business owner, your time is money. I'm the most expensive and cheapest asset of my company. And so when I go online, I make the content, I make the posts, it needs to accomplish something. Some of my posts are baloney. Like yesterday, for example, I posted a video of me skateboarding for the sake of posting because I wasn't in the mood. I just knew I had to put something out there. So yes, you're going to have those days where you're posting for the sake of just posting. But as a business owner, you post and be like, all right, I'm answering this question because the last month, a lot of my clients asked me this. And it's doing that to build my brand awareness. And it's funny because, and I'm not trying to call anyone out here, but if you're a digital marketer and you're not making content and you're telling your client to make content, do you really know what you're doing? It's okay. It's like if you call Bob here in Dothan, Alabama, but he decides I don't know, if you call Bob and then he sends you someone else, I don't get it. I don't know. Like, if you're a business owner, know what you're doing and answer people's questions. Really pay attention to what their needs are, and then make content about it. Just suck, cash flow, make content. What's another thing I wish I knew? If you're listening to this podcast and you're thinking about going into business, I don't want to deter you from going into business. As a single dad of a child with special needs, I have the best freedom to be able to be there and take care of my child. Like, every Wednesday, I take him to therapy. It's just how it is. I try to, as I have KPIs and key performance indicators as a business owner that are expected of me and my employees. But Wednesdays, I am able to easily and comfortably just break away and not worry about things. And it's that struggle that I hear from people all the time where they're working for somebody that they don't like working for, and then they get 1 week off a year, if you're lucky, and that may not even be paid off. I trade my money in for time, not my time for money. And I can always make more money. I can't make more time. So you need to, it's going to suck and it's going to be hard when you start your business. And I'll be the first to say that as a divorced man, starting my company was probably a wedge in my marriage. But just the amount of freedom I have. After this podcast with you, Ben, I could just fuck off and go get a beer or something. Just relax for a minute without having to worry
about where are we going?
On my back.
Where are we going?
Dude, Circle City moved right here, literally through my wall.
Oh, they moved?
Yeah, Circle City Brewing.
Are they open right now?
They'll be open soon.
All right.
I think they're doing lunch.
No, man, I can totally relate to everything you said, and I appreciate you saying all that. That's the whole point of this podcast, is I want people to hear the real and the raw of what it takes to start a business, get one going, and keep it going. Also, the real estate side of things. So it's great that we talked about both. But you talked about cat
and being successful. Running a business is like getting pregnant. Everyone tells you congratulations when you're pregnant. They don't realize how many times you got fucked over to get there.
Yeah, it is tough, man. You talked about taxes and cash flow. That's definitely probably one of the biggest things that you definitely need to learn, because nobody talks about that really. I mean, yeah, there are people talking about it out there. When you're first starting a business, you're so focused on getting it going and making the money, but you're not so worried about the back end of what you need to do with that money, how you need to properly organize that money. And, a book that I would really recommend people to read would be Profit First. And there's some online banking services out there, like a company called Relay that's partnered with Profit First, that teaches you how to have buckets and to put your money in the right places and to pay yourself first, but also so you're not going to be talking to the IRS later on, which can happen very quickly.
Yeah, no shit. I mean, I take pride right now that we are a company that operates at zero debt, and personally myself as well, I live zero debt. Like, it feels good and it really helps. And I'm still learning the discipline of money because I don't understand money is thanks to the public school system for that. But if you're someone starting a business, yes, don't get sidetracked by, ooh, look at the money. But what are you going to do with it when you start creating that income? Away for retirement. Put some away for good old Uncle Sam in the state of Alabama. Everything else is just, understanding cash flow is still to this day, my biggest pain point in my company.
Yeah, I think cash flow is the biggest pain point in every single business across the country, in the world, and understanding that and how to keep the cash flow coming. You were talking about how you have your main service, but sometimes you have to add those ancillary value add services to get people into the door to then sell them your main service, because they may not be looking for that, or they may not realize that they even need it. So you get them in the door with something else, and then you introduce them to the real service that's there. That's probably the most valuable one.
It's true. I get a lot of people that come to me, they're like, hey, I want Google Ads. I'm like, cool. So I'll look at their website, and as a respectful marketer, a lot of marketers will just run ads for run the ads to get a check. That's cool. Those are dime a dozen. Anyone can do that. But like, if they don't have a properly built website, I won't run ads. And so I've just been like, okay, we need to offer website services. One of the things I do for companies is audits, just like an accountant will come in and audit to make sure your accountant's fine or whatnot. I work with a lot of other marketing agencies as an auditor, and it's just not to steal business at all, but to find pain points. And I have an auditor myself that works with our accounts, because sometimes I get glazed over with data, I'm missing something type of stuff.
They're poking holes.
Yeah. And so, and just like in every business, there's crooked people. A lot of times, about once a week, I'll get someone that calls me and they'll be like, hey, Tony, I would like to hire you to audit my SEO. I'm like, great, what's your website? Well, we don't have a website. Well, what the hell are you paying for? Or they hire someone to run Google Ads, and they're running Google Ads to a Facebook page. Oh my God, just stop that. That's terrible. Anyways, I don't know why I went off on that tangent. What are we talking about, Ben? I need more coffee.
Ancillary services, value add services to get in the door. To sell the main.
Protecting business. A lot of times I protect businesses in the sense of like, you are wasting your money. And as a marketer earlier this year, I can't do full disclosure on it, but I got hired as a special, what was it called? Anyways, there's a lawsuit going on, and I got hired to explain to the judge and the jury how digital marketing works, a special witness or whatever it's called. I don't know what the legal term is.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because this poor business owner got taken for, and now I get to represent him and talk to the jury, which was weird because I was talking to this judge, and I'm like, this guy's so old, he doesn't know what a PDF file is. I gotta explain this to this judge how analytics are, and it worked. I mean, the client hired me, won, all that fun stuff.
Heck yeah.
Hope businesses don't get that far to the point where they've been screwed so bad that, as a marketer, one of the things my mentor told me was, he's like, listen, regardless of the amount of money a business gives you, they are trusting you to be able to help them keep their doors open, keep their employees employed. Because if you don't do your job, they're going to have to let people go out of business. And that's the worst thing as a digital marketer that can happen to your client, is you didn't take responsibility and actual care for your client so they get the leads they need to keep the doors open.
I love that, man. That's awesome that you helped that guy, and he ended up winning this case. Even more importantly, so that he actually sued the person. That's a big thing. I'm going down a rabbit hole with this, but that's a big thing for me. Is whether it's people don't have the confidence, or maybe they don't have the money to sue somebody. People, and depending on the situation, right? People tell you just to leave it alone, don't worry about it, basically overlook it. But the problem there for me, in my eyes, is that's like the common theme now. People just tell you, oh, don't worry about it, just move on, focus on the positive moving forward. Okay, well, how many other people is that person going to take advantage of? When is somebody going to stand up and be like, no, you're done. We're going to bring attention to the fact of what you're doing to people, and we're not going to allow this anymore. Like, somebody has to do that.
Yeah, a lot of times with businesses, when I work with them, they'll have like okay, it's like social media marketing is real popular, and a girl that makes a post that goes quote unquote viral, and now all of a sudden she thinks she's a social media marketer, and now she's like doing stuff for businesses. Or a lot of business owners, they'll just point at the youngest person in their company and be like,
Yeah.
you make us a website or something, right? And then they reach me and they're like, hey, Tony, I hear it time and time again. We gave this business this much money. They're supposed to do this for us, and we're not seeing the results. And part of it because no one is looking at the analytics. No one is looking at the tracking. There's no tracking set up at all. Like, if there's the beautiful thing about if you set up a billboard and the billboard company can tell you, well, 10,000 people are going to drive past here every day. Well, how many of those people actually have the intent to use your business or even looking at the billboard? People are texting and driving, sadly. They're not looking at the billboard, much less looking at the damn road in front of them. And so these small businesses, they get hurt by somebody who promises them a lot of stuff and then doesn't deliver. And maybe that person could have delivered if they paid attention to the data. What was it telling them? So that, and as a business owner, I don't expect business owners to go in and understand Google Analytics right off the top of their head. That's my job. But have an understanding of, all right, if we're using Facebook or I'm giving this company $800 to do something with it, what is that returning in value? And that's why I hope to teach businesses understanding, hey, have tracking on your website, track what you're doing, take a look at what the data tells you what happened, and then make adjustments as needed. And sadly, a lot of business owners, they don't know, and they get taken advantage by somebody that I hear it all the time. These marketing companies that have sales reps that are trained to throw up words, and then they're like, yeah, I'll give you my money, here you go. And 4-6 months later down the road, they ain't got shit to show for it, literally.
Yeah, that reminds me of another quote. The quote is, you think it's expensive to hire a professional, wait until you hire an amateur.
Yeah, wait to hire an amateur, right?
Yeah, you definitely need to do your due diligence. So with digital marketing, would you say that it works right away or it takes time?
So speaking for Google Ads specifically, with a properly built website and properly integrated tracking, you can tell within about 90 days that you can tell within about 30 days that there's a proof of concept. Is this going to work? And I've worked with specifically like e-commerce stores or people that are selling products, and I'm like, the internet doesn't like your product. Your product sucks. It's not going to sell. I've had to have those conversations with people. Like, we need to make an adjustment. This isn't going to work. But so 30 days in Google Ads, proof of concept. Is this going to work? Is our messaging right? Are we getting the right amount of people? 90 to 180 days, you should see the needle will start to move. And I said because, okay, when people run Google Ads, yes, the end result is a cash register rings. I get money in my bank account. What you're paying for is data. How do people find my business and how do they interact with it? And after we have that data, proper data collected, then you're going to see the leads start coming in. And business owners need to get that in their heads. Isn't a TV, radio, billboard ad where you're just like, call me, Alabama? No, this is how for Google Ads, you're paying how you're collecting the information. How did they find me? How did they interact with my business? And how long did it take them to become a client? Now, some industries like plumbers, electricians, HVACs, it tends to work right away. Tow companies, because the husband wakes up,
Needed
walks
service.
over to the bathroom, and the toilet's overflowing. Yeah, they're going to whip out their phone and be like, I need a plumber near me. They're not going to go to their car, sit down, turn the car on, and listen to the radio and wait for the first plumbing ad to show up. That's not going to work. He's not going to drive around town looking for a plumber billboard. No, I need a plumber near me. Those industries tend to work pretty quick. And even though we have remarketing, because I have an HVAC guy that, yes, they want to do repairs, but they want more people to sign up for their membership program. That's a monthly thing. And things like that. That's a different ballgame in their ads compared to My house is hot. I woke up sweating because my AC is not working. Anyways, for everybody else, it's a long-term game. At least a minimum, if you're going to run Google Ads, at least a minimum of 6 months, depending on your industry. Depending on the industry, depending on who you're targeting, and depending on the area. Like Dothan, Alabama, for example, my bankruptcy attorney here in Dothan, Alabama is going to get less searches than my bankruptcy attorney in Atlanta. So my Atlanta client is going to get more valuable data quicker on how people interact with the business than the attorney in Dothan. That's just how it is.
Population. Yeah.
Yeah. How many searches are being done per day for your service or industry?
Yeah, I love that, man. The reason why I ask how long does it take, because you can also apply, and that relates to business in general. For somebody who's wanting to start a business, or maybe you've already started a business and you're kind of in it right now and you're struggling, wondering what's going to happen, even just, being a realtor. I tell realtors it takes, national average industry 6 months to see a check. Now, I've seen other agents get a deal under contract in the first month and every month after that. But just in general in business, I think you need to understand, to have patience, that it's going to take time to build your business. I've been seeing a trend lately, and I may even write a book about this because I've always wanted to write a book, and I've been trying to figure out what the topic's going to be about. But there seems to be a 5-year trend where the first year in business, you don't know what you're doing. You're trying to figure it out. Hopefully, you're putting in systems and processes for those systems in place, and you're just putting everything together. A year or two, now you've hopefully got everything together, or maybe you're finishing buttoning down a few things, and you're starting to see maybe a little momentum. And then, of course, that just compounds on year 3, year 4, and year 5. But you're always having some kind of struggle, some kind of barrier that you have to get past. But the whole point is just have patience in general, and things take time, especially in businesses. So you're going to be wearing a lot of hats, and marketing is one of those things. Like I said, that's my passion. I love marketing in general because I understand how it works and how important it is for your business. A lot of people are great at whatever the skill or task is for their business. Like, let's just say somebody who's a baker. They know baking, but they don't know how to run a business. They don't know marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Marketing,
you're
the business side of it, I hate that. Oh,
yeah.
exactly.
And so, like, you got to hire somebody else to do that. And I know that can be tough in the beginning. One thing I would tell somebody is, if you have the money, just go ahead and do it, but know that don't just do it to do it. Know that it's going to take a couple of months to get going. So you need money, that cash flow to float you, or the capital of the startup to be able to float you. But it's definitely something you need to start right away. I would hand it off to somebody else, because that's not the job that you need to be doing. You need to leverage somebody else for that. But marketing is what's going to bring the business into you. Yeah, you can have a good product that's going to bring business into you, because word of mouth, probably the best form of marketing that there is out there, the organic growth. But sometimes that's slow, or maybe everybody hears about you in the beginning and you're real busy, but then it's going to slow down at some point. It always does. Just like opening up a cookie store and there's a big craze and everybody's standing outside. But, a year goes by, 2 years go by, that line's still not going to be out the door, because it's just something new, right? When you open up, it may be something new to everybody, but you still need to market every single day. This kills me. I had a conversation. I won't even say I had a conversation. It was more of a Facebook argument over comments. Some guy just talking about not needing to market. And I kind of got into it with him a while back, and finally, obviously, I was just like, okay, this guy's had a bad experience, or just really doesn't understand it. But I was like, Coca-Cola or any big brand, Walmart, they're all paying millions of dollars every single year to still market their business, and he was just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, Kim at Say Cable, she, like, one of her favorite things. One of the favorite things I've heard her say is people advertise for toilet paper on TV ads. Who's not buying toilet paper? And people advertise on Google for toilet paper. If you're going to search for, I want to buy toilet paper, you're going to see ads. Like, who's not buying toilet paper? And for business owners, I talk to business owners, digital marketing is a two-way road. You have to put forth effort into the online success of your business. You have to, or you're going to have to hire somebody to put forth that effort for you. But the best effort is still going to come from you, the business owner. My responsibility in the business now is yes, I still in Google Ads, my online education, but my responsibility is Tony has to make the content for the business because Tony is the face of the company. And I have somebody else, a team, that now handles what I was doing at the very beginning when I first started the digital marketing, Google Ads. And I talk to business owners, I'm like, why aren't you making content? I don't want to. Why? Because I'm embarrassed. Why are you? Who gives a shit? There are people online talking about, there are girls online that own saunas and they're talking about sunbathing their ooha and they're getting leads off of it. Talk about your damn baking, dude. Just set up a camera and start fucking baking. You don't have to talk to the camera and look at it. Just bake. People will just watch you do that.
The problem with that too, people are embarrassed, of course, because they've never been on camera. You don't even have to show your face, especially if you're doing something like baking or whatever. But there's another quote, right? I'm going to keep throwing these quotes out here. I learned done is better than perfect. That's just like this podcast, for instance. You're my second episode. I've got 14 other episodes already scheduled, which is awesome. I hope to hit 100 in maybe like a 6-month time. But you don't see me with the expensive mic right now. I don't have this beautiful background behind me. I've got the virtual background going on right now. I'm just starting and doing and not caring what people think about my headphones or not having a mic or the background or not. I'll get there eventually. I think that's another important lesson for business owners is everybody thinks that it has to be perfect and it's got to be just a certain way, or they're going to think people are going to say something about them. People are going to say something about you. They always do, and they always will. It'll never stop. So you've got to just start.
I've got people make fun of me online, but I still make my content.
Yeah, you just got to start and do, and you can learn and grow and get better. One of the problems is you probably don't have a lot of money when you get started, the cash flow problem. So just start, do it, make content, and then you'll start bringing in money, and then you'll have the money to be able to do what you need to do to get better equipment, to be able to record content.
I had a client that we were making content for, and he was starting to get leads. It was great. And then all of a sudden, he just stopped. In a 4-month period, he just stopped. I'm like, why did you stop making the content? I mean, the company was starting to make money from it. And he's like, oh, well, Tony, people are making fun of my ties. He hasn't made a damn video since then. What are we doing? People make fun of me personally for the way I talk and my spelling and grammar, which isn't the best. It isn't. And my poor secretary is constantly chasing me around to make sure my spelling and grammar is correct. But it's funny because people talk about it, activity breeds activity. If you go listen to the majority of my content that I make, and some of my content that I make as well, is helping businesses start a podcast or use tactics that are less than $100 or free that they can start implementing today. If you go listen to some of my very first podcasts for the company that came out, they were recorded on a phone using an app called Anchor. And it's free. You can do it. Anyone can do it to start talking about your business. Now I have a secretary. Part of her responsibilities is to make the podcast better audio quality and whatnot. But I'm doing that now. I've had my podcast for 3 years, and I still tell her, hey, don't edit it too much. And she's like, why? I'm like, well, because I want business owners to hear the imperfections, because done is better than perfect. I still want business owners to understand, make the content and just post it.
I love that you said that about not editing too much, because I was just thinking about that earlier. That's something else that I've learned.
There was another marketer I talked to, and I hope I don't butcher up what he said. He was telling me, he's like, what if I told you that there was a casino that you can go to, and every time you roll the dice, you would win? And I'd be like, well, you'd be crazy not to go to that casino, right? I'm like, yeah. He's like, that's what content creation is. Every time you make a video, you're rolling the dice, and you're going to win. You might win by getting, who cares if you only got, if you get 5 views or 200 views, or that one video might get you that one new client or 1,000 new leads, or 1,000 new followers. Every time you make content online, you are rolling the dice and you're going to win regardless.
Yeah, there's literally a realtor that I follow on YouTube, and he just started his channel not too long ago. He has less than 200 followers and is already getting business, like really big business. People think that you got to have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of followers. Well, that's just not true. And yeah, if it only gets 5 views, what if one of those views is a customer for you? And you got to get started somewhere, right? Like that's what people have to understand is you're not going to start out getting hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands or millions of subscribers or viewers. Every single one of those people that are at that level now got started at absolutely zero and just had the patience to consistently put out content and learn and grow and get better from each piece until eventually they started gaining subscribers and viewers and to be built to where they are right now.
Yes. Just make your content. That's all I can say. In small business, go ahead and start on Facebook, make your content, post on there, but be ready to grow off that platform. Or expand into other platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about omnipresence earlier. I mean, Facebook has been the best lead generation source for me just because that's what I've learned. You mentioned Google Business earlier. I'm definitely an advocate for that. When I first got started in real estate, I kind of knew what I was doing, but I even add businesses or lead reviews on Google Business pages. And I built my own like personal name on Google, being, what do they call that? The personal side of Google My Business.
Oh, guide.
Yeah, Google Guide. Yeah, there's a guy here in town who's a mortgage lender who absolutely crushes that. I thought that I was doing good, and I was talking about it one day, and then I showed him my analytics, my data, and he was being super humble about it. And then he showed me his phone, and I was just like, "Oh, thanks for being nice."
I've leveraged that to get free beer and meals. Like I'll go, like restaurants have like the worst online listings. Like no one manages this stuff. Anyways, I'll go to a restaurant off a Google My Business listing. I'd be like, "Is the owner here?" I'm like, "Hey man, I'm a digital marketer and a local guide. I'll fix your Google My Business listing if you give me a free meal." And they're like, "Done."
That's awesome.
More than a few times because it's in the restaurant industry. They live and die off of reviews, especially Yelp. Yelp is the devil, but yeah, it's there. But they understand that, and so they're like, "Yeah, I'll give you a couple free meals if you help me fix this real quick." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem at all." And do an hour's worth of work, maybe 30 minutes to an hour's worth of work, because I can navigate that platform that quick and get it up to date and running, and then get myself.
And start seeing more business.
Yeah, and then they'll start seeing more business. I got a free steak dinner.
I don't blame you at all for that. I mean, you're trading. That's like the old school days. You're trading service for service. So that's awesome, man. I love that you've done that you do that. And what's crazy, I don't think people understand that Google My Business it's free. I've been using it and I get leads off of it, literally. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to it, obviously, to optimize it and set it up to where you're going to have a better chance of getting more leads. But I think earlier this year, like in the span of 1 month, I got 3 leads out of nowhere. Well, it wasn't out of nowhere, but I got it off of Google My Business. And it's because I started doing a little bit more on there with like making posts. And then there's something I still got to do to optimize my Google My Business, but it's using products to funnel people to my website.
I literally have a browser open of new videos to come of managing and editing your Google My Business listing. I already have some of them on my YouTube channel, but I'm going to be, because I've been getting leads off my Google My Business listing. The businesses have been like, "Oh, we follow on YouTube and we use what you say on YouTube to optimize our stuff." So I'm like, "All right, looks like I gotta keep making more tips and tricks videos on YouTube."
I love that you give information away. On the last podcast I talked about another quote. I don't know why I keep forgetting the guy's name. You'll probably know it when I say it, but it's simply just talking about you'll have everything you want if you help enough other people get what they want, is basically how it goes.
All of my content, and I'm talking my podcast, my newsletter, the blogs, my training manuals, how everything I do is free. I don't have no paywall, nothing. I mean, I do ask people to like, follow, and share because it does help and helps keep the content free, because making content takes time and money, or takes time and effort, I should say. And time is money anyways. But yeah, I have one of my consultants, who's a social media consultant. His name's Austin Armstrong. He owns a couple online companies, and it's funny talking to him because he's like, "Why aren't you making your video content?" It's that whole conversation. What I'm telling you to do, and I'm starting to do it myself. Anyways, he's the one who's like, "Give your stuff away for free. Give everything away for free." He does that. Like, you go follow this guy online, and everything he does, all his training is free. And so we've been doing the same thing. It's been really helping build our brand awareness and whatnot.
Yeah, I was watching a video the other day, and the guy was talking about that. It was a young guy starting up in business, and he had a mentor, and he realized his mentor was, I think he was like I don't remember, a consultant or accountant or something like that. And he would literally bring people in and have like a whole hour consulting with them. And by the time they left, like on a whiteboard, he had their whole business and life laid out and told them exactly how to structure it. And he left there, and it just started eating at him. He was like, I can't believe he did that. And usually somebody else would charge $100 an hour or $500 an hour, whatever it is, with somebody that does that. And so it was eating at him. And he calls the guy up. He's like, why are you doing this? Why are you giving away things for free? He's like, you're going to go out of business. And he's like, that's just crazy. He's like, no, you got it all wrong. He's like, what you don't understand is usually by the time we get done with this consultation, I've built trust with those people, and they realize that I do know what I'm talking about. And like you mentioned earlier, at a point in your business, really, like right away, if you have the capital, you have the money to do it, you should hire somebody out for every single hat in a business, like accounting or something like that, and let a professional handle it. But he's just, usually I build that trust, and he's like 9 times out of 10, maybe 7 times out of 10, by the end of it, they're like, let's get started. I want to work with you. I want to hire you to handle whatever it is. And so most people think that by giving away information for free, that nothing's going to happen. They're not going to make any money. People are just going to take what they say and go do it. But at some point in time, like you mentioned earlier, business owners get too busy and they need to hand it off. And just in general, from what I've learned about business is, I wouldn't wait until you're busy. Again, I get if you don't have the capital, you don't have the cash flow, you don't have the money to do it right away. I fully understand that. But as soon as you don't even question it, just one, make sure you've done your research and you've got the right person doing the job. Because like you mentioned earlier, it's in every industry, right? There's not great realtors out there. There's not great digital marketers. There's not great lawyers or accountants that don't know what they're doing or are going to take advantage of you. So definitely do your research. But when you can, hire out for those lanes, those positions and hats in your business.
I work on building my trust with clients because there's so many marketers out there, or people that claim to be marketers or influencers or just anything like that. And any business owner, anyone listening to this podcast can go to my YouTube channel and watch any of my how-to videos and immediately apply them right there and see things start to work. And it's funny because my competition has come. They follow me on YouTube. I can see them watching my videos, leaving comments, and I'm like, that's my competitor. And they've been like, oh man, your YouTube videos are amazing. Like the stuff you say really works. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
They're probably learning from you.
Yeah, they're learning from me. It's hilarious, which is, I like, whatever, I don't care. Let them know. Like we're working on a series right now, detailed instructions on how we run Google Ads accounts and manage them. And we're gonna have the PDF files download for free so any business can take it and apply it to their company. And a lot of times I hear my leads, they go, well, we applied what you did, it worked, but now we don't have the time to manage it. We already know you can do it because we applied your work to our stuff and it is working. Can you just manage it?
Yeah, they're too busy. They're too busy, or like you're saying, you're fixing to put out some video series on how to manage an account. But I mean, even though I love marketing, that kind of stuff is, you're getting in the weeds with that, and you need somebody who that's their sole job that they do every day. That all they're doing is learning that to be able to handle that.
I know people can't afford me, so that's why I'm a pretty pricey marketer. I know my value and I charge accordingly to it. But if you can't afford me, you can follow me on YouTube, where it's free, and you can apply those assets to you. Things like that. I even tell people, like, hey, for people starting a business, I know they can't afford me to build them a website. So I have how-to videos on how to build yourself a starter site on GoDaddy or Squarespace, things like that, so that they can at least have an effective running website. And then when they're ready to afford me to build them a professional WordPress site, then they can hire me.
That's the same concept. Right before we got on this podcast, I was on another Zoom call. This guy who's a really successful realtor broker, owns a massive team and has spread out into 18 other locations across the country. But that's exactly what he was talking about, and kind of along the lines of just giving value for free. But what he was talking about specifically is the reason why he was doing the Zoom call. It was a CEO, how to fire yourself for realtors training. And he was like, I want to help you get to $250,000. And he's like, you may be wondering why I'm willing to do that for free. Obviously there's something to sell, right? People got to make money.
Yeah.
You can't pay your bills for nothing. He's like, but I want to help you get to $250,000 so you can help fire yourself. And maybe we'll partner together, because he kind of does a little franchise thing with teams across the country, because he has I think they've been doing it for like over 10 years or longer, but like he has the structure, the process, like from A to Z back to A, exactly what you need to do. He's like, I want to help you get to 250, so then you can partner with me and I'll teach you how to get to $1 million plus.
Yeah. I know not everyone can afford me, and I don't want to work with everybody either. So here we try to keep all of our educational content as organized as possible. So which we're working on our blog right now. Our blog, we have a new blog that we put on the website every Monday, new blog, but it's not organized in a way that a business owner can go to my website and search for what they need. So we're fixing that problem. But go to my YouTube and my TikTok videos, and you can see the how-to videos. So they'd be like, I'm going to apply. I know I need to do my business listing. Well, I have a whole tutorial on how to set up your my business listing for free, and you can talk to me. Things like that. It's to help these business owners so that they have a good understanding, a good starting point. I even have videos on what to ask when you're looking to hire a marketer, because I know they're probably not going to hire me for whatever reason. Whatever it may be. People don't like Mexicans. I don't know. But if they go and hire an agency, what to expect. For example, I have a car dealership that I work for. And this poor dealership, they fired their previous agency, came with me. Well, the previous agency was data holding their online assets. That's kind of illegal. But business owners don't know, I'm supposed to own my website. I'm supposed to own my domain. I'm supposed to own this. And then as a marketer, I work on your behalf on these assets. And I had videos explaining that to business owners. Like, hey, when you hire a marketer, don't give them access to this. They don't need it. Things like that, because I see far too many times when a company will fire somebody or they fire an employee and they forgot to remove the employee from Facebook, and now their Facebook page is poof, gone. I'm dealing with that right now with a client. It's like, I'll go in and look and be like, hey, who is this guy? Oh, we fired them 5 years ago. Well, we should probably remove their access.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now for you. Yeah, that's crazy. I love that you said that, because man, we could sit here and talk all day. I love this, but people need to have you want to talk about businesses and getting them started and knowing how to run them. Like I was talking about in your first year, it's a lot. You're drinking from a fire hose. You're trying to figure everything out. Like what it is that you're doing, the digital marketing, but you also got to learn the business side of things. And that's one reason why I wanted to join a franchise as far as real estate goes, because they literally have a business in a box. It's a proven model. I don't want to go recreate the wheel if I don't have to. But what I'm trying to get at is, they already have systems and processes. And one of those processes is onboarding and offboarding. We have an onboarding system and an offboarding system. And what's really great about it is when we go to onboard somebody, same day, usually they're going to get access to everything they need, which is really important in the real estate world, because you need to get up and going as fast as you can and start making some money. Otherwise, you're going to fall out of this business. But it's also the same thing where when they're leaving, they're going to get out of here same day. Like we submit the offboarding process and boom, they're out of everything. They don't have access to anything at all in our systems. Like one thing I do though is I let them know that it's going to be that way. So if you have any personal stuff or things that you generated on your own, you need to go ahead and download and get whatever you need out of those systems, because once they shut them down, it's gone. You're not getting it back.
Oh yeah. I'm dealing with a client right now, family involvement, and the cousin deleted their Facebook page. I'm just like, oh shit.
Oh man, that sucks.
Why did he
Yeah.
even ask in the first place? Well, we were selling the company to him. So you gave him something before you paid for it. You pissed him off. Now you deleted your Facebook page out of spite. Fantastic. That's a
Yeah,
lawsuit that happened.
there's nothing worse than that, especially if you've like built up that page with a good following,
Yeah, they're a
or
company that actually relies on Facebook sales.
oh yeah,
Now they don't
absolutely.
have any.
Yeah, or even worse, ex-employee, ex-partner steals your Google My Business page after you've built it up
That's
so
funny
much.
you say that, man. Interesting there.
Yeah, you know a little bit about that, huh? Yeah. People like really don't realize how important a Google business page is and how much it can help grow
Well,
your
just
business.
assets, your online assets, the
Yeah.
value behind them, and there are federal regulations. That's why, like, one of the things I talk about when you hire a marketer, you better make sure they're familiar with the rules and regulations of your industry, of your state, and anything that changes, because you can get sued for like crazy shit, dude.
Oh yeah. Well,
Because online assets aren't secured properly, or you're not collecting people's data the correct way. And now I have businesses here in Dothan, Alabama. It's starting to happen here in Dothan. It sucks that these businesses are getting $10,000 fines from the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, and that could kill you as a business owner. And they're like, I didn't know. I had my wife's younger sister's cousin's boyfriend build our website, and now I'm getting sued. I'm like, yeah, because you're copyright infringement.
yeah,
So
man, you gotta be real careful, and it pays to, one, make connections and have relationships with professionals in each industry, so that way things like that are not happening. But so how can people reach out to you and get a hold of you if they want to use your services?
well, you can look me up. And my online name, when I created, I wasn't fully educated on how SEO works, and I was just stuck. It's Tec Tony, but there's no H. It's just TECTONY. Or just look at my company, Pathfinder Digital Marketing. Very easy to find online.
Man, I appreciate having you on the show today. I want to keep Tom in mind for everybody, for ourselves, and for our listeners on here. So I really appreciate the conversation today. And thanks for anyone tuning in on this episode or future episodes. And appreciate it. If you could please share the podcast if this is something that you really like today. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for joining me on the Real Estate and Business Success Podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's insights and are ready to apply these strategies to your own business endeavors. If you found value in the episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who might benefit. Stay tuned for more interviews with successful entrepreneurs and actionable advice to drive your business forward. Until next time, keep pushing for success, and remember, success is just around the corner.